Map number 1 of a best of 3 here in the Go for SC2 February finals. €600 on the line and a PvZ to start off the evening. Spawning up in the top right hand position as the green Protoss player. He represents ESC. It's JackO. His opponent to the top left, the red Zerg player, representing Team Liquid, Snute. Of course, their new title sponsor, HyperX, getting the clan tag name there, all pretty baller stuff. In terms of openings from these two, JackO is putting a pylon up in his main. This could be a gateway expand or a nexus first. It could be a very economical nexus first. Both are viable strategies. It depends how confident JackO's feeling. It is a best of 3, so you can take a couple of risks, the odd few chances, hoping things will work out for you. Or you can just play it nice and safe and go for the gateway, which it looks like JackO is deciding that that may be the better route. Probe coming out now, going to be scouting nice and early on. Frost is a big 4 spawn position map, so you always want to be making sure that you're getting some early information about where your opponent is. Snute throwing down that spawning pool. That was a 15 pool he got, so isn't going super economic, isn't going hatch first, which quite a few Zerg players recently have seemed to have a preference towards. Not going hatch pool either. Doesn't know that it's definitely going to be a gateway expand. Maybe a little fearful of cannon rushes or things like that. You can actually wall off the back of a natural base as a Protoss player with 3 pylons. And cannon rush there, which is incredibly frustrating to deal with. Probe just wandering around at the moment, just going to be taking quick little look. Confirms that, okay, spawning pool was definitely down before the hatchery, so I know it was a pool first, but he's got a decent number of drones, so it must have been like a 15 pool or so. Just a good read from JackO. Snute, he's got pretty lucky actually. His first Overlord has come into scout, so he sent it the correct way. Had a 50-50 chance that it would go the right way. Sees the gateway, and that's pretty much all he needs to know immediately. Is going to just skirt this Overlord round the back, and the thing that Snute really wants to be looking for now is how many gases JackO's taken. If there's only the 1 gas, the most probable build order that the Protoss player is going to be going for is some kind of gateway expand into 4-gate zealot pressure. Really irritating, incredibly hard to deal with if not scouted. 2 gases though mean that that isn't what's coming down, so Snute already confirmed that 1 exists. He probably is going to want to check to see whether the second one's coming through. Back at home though, Snute, he's taking down his 3rd hatchery. He's got 1 gas up already, just mining the first Vespian now, so that's literally only just finished up. Queens are coming out, injects are getting ready to go, and JackO, he's just sitting in a relatively safe spot. I really like this positioning of the pylon and cybercore because it lets you get the zealot out just to be nice and safe at the front. Prevents there being any too much scary stuff if there were a lot of things pumping through or say a lot of lings on their way, which is something that's possible with a pool coming out. Snute though, he's playing this very macro orientated, droning up heavily. Meanwhile, JackO, he's got his forge on its way. That means that upgrades are possible. No additional gateways as of yet, but he's probably going to be adding in 2 more at least very soon. May even get a 3rd one down. It depends on how aggressive JackO wants to be up against his Zerg opponent. Hatchery now finished up for Snute. That's his 3rd base completed. He's pulled drones out of this extractor after starting up Zergling speed. JackO though, he's adding in a Stargate, and a lot of Protoss players have been finding that actually some Oracle play is really good. Phoenix play and Voidways into the mid game are also really solid, so it's a couple of good options open to JackO. But for the moment, he's just harassing in with 1 Zealot and this Mothership core. Snute is about to have 8 Zerglings pop out, which is more than enough to deal with a Zealot. The Queen does just want to be a little bit careful, doesn't want to get taken out. But a Time Warp going to be used, allowing that Zealot to close up the distance. The Zealot won't kill the Queen, but the Mothership core will finish the job. Backs on out, and yeah, this is all looking pretty damn nice. Mothership core goes down. That's a bit of a bigger loss than really you would want. Killing a Queen in exchange for a Zealot and a Mothership core isn't actually a very cost-effective trade. There is some additional benefit aside from just the flat resources lost of the Queen. That obviously the injects are hurt as a result of it, so the third base... actually, Snoot's done a great job of mitigating any losses from those injects by moving the Queen from his third up just to inject quickly there. But generally, you miss a bit of inject timing by sniping off the Queen. Phoenix have now been scouted, so Snute knows what's coming down, and he also saw a second one in production. So this wasn't just like a single Phoenix coming out to snipe off Overlords and scout with. This is actually a commitment to Phoenix. This will deter Snute from going into Mutalisk play. That's the biggest thing that it's going to do. And it also means that he needs to be a little bit more careful with his Overlords. Can't spread them out all across the map, so just pulling them all back home where Queens can help protect them. Phoenix now, getting ready to go in. Going to try and find any Overlords that may be sitting a little bit too far away, but they're all backing away safely. Spore Crawlers are all coming down. This is allowing Snute just to deal with any Phoenix that may come and try and harass his mineral lines. Lings though, they're being very active out on the map, just taking some pokes and prods, seeing what's going on. No +1 has only just started now, and Snute would have seen that that Forge wasn't researching. Coming back in now confirms that, okay, something is being researched. That's important to note. He also comes in just to try and get a read. Is there any more sentries? Is there... what's actually coming here? Because Snute, in overall information about what's coming down in his base, is a bit limited. He knows that there's a Stargate and that there's Phoenix out, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't know about the robotics facility. Doesn't know about the robotics bay. So, the only thing that's a giveaway is that there are many gateway units down at this natural base. 3 sentries now and 2 zealots. Really not much, so there was only going to have been the gateway at the front and the gateway in the main. Only 2 gates worth of production, the 3rd and 4th now coming through. These 4 Phoenix coming on the hunt yet again. Snute adding in that infestation pit. A couple of drones getting taken out there, and that's actually a really nice pick-off. 2 drones killed, which may not seem like a huge amount, but that actually has cut a good amount off of this extraction. Snute hasn't replaced those drones quite yet. And this is going to be hampering how much Vespian income he gets going through. What Snute is doing though, he's adding in that beautiful enduring locust upgrade. He's going to be heading towards those swarm hosts. But what's more interesting is that he starts up 5 infestors. I'm not sure if that's a misclick, because generally speaking, you don't want to get infestors out onto the field, unless of course you've got pathogen glands, because these infestors are going to spawn without enough energy to fungal growth, meaning they're basically sitting there for quite a while, very vulnerable. The advantage of getting a couple of infestors though, is that you've got some fungal growths, and if you land a couple of good chain fungals on Phoenix, it can really shut them down effectively. An overseer for Snute now coming in, sees that, okay, robotic facility there, doesn't see the robotic bay yet, and it's worth noting that there isn't a Colossus on the field. So Snute not getting the confirmation of exactly what's coming out for the moment. Does drop a single changeling. That doesn't seem to have been detected as of yet by JackO. He's going to have to wait momentarily. Gets stuck a little bit, but hopefully this is going to scout out the Colossus coming through. Meanwhile, War Prism drop coming in, as well as a lot of Zealots heading in towards the 3rd base. This is going to be frustrating for Snute to deal with. He's got a few swarm hosts, but they're not burrowed up, so they're not producing locusts. Now burrowing, but a quick lift will grab one of them. The Zealots coming through. No detection here immediately. The Zealots in the 3rd getting some nice damage down. The Zealots in the natural base getting cleaned up quickly though. However, 4 more are now warping in. These Zealots trying their utmost to trade with these Lings, but they're down and upgrading. It's 1-1 for the Lings, 1-0 for the Zealots, and these infested Terrans are going to do a really good job of sniping down that War Prism, putting an end to any further aggression really from JackO in the form of drops. So Snute, he's looking pretty comfy, pretty cushy up at 80 drones, swarm host numbers starting to climb, and we could be settling into a bit of a longer game now, because Snute isn't going to feel too comfortable pushing out and getting aggressive until he's got things like Vipers. Although, as I say that, he moves these Spore Crawlers a long way forward. It looks like he's just going to start sieging up, but if he actually tries to push in too soon, I'd be quite surprised. There's a couple of Colossi out, 2 of which in total. I'm not sure if Snute has seen them yet, but he may just feel that he's got enough stuff to deal with this. The 2-2 melee upgrades are coming down, and the second melee upgrade is interesting. Snute may choose to get a couple of Ultralisks out, just to go for a little tech switch. For the moment though, these Locusts are getting some nice damage down. They don't have any bonus attack, but that bonus armor is going to be helping them. Ling's also checking to make sure there's no hidden bases, no ninja bases getting taken by JackO. Snute still sieging in, getting a couple of probe kills now, slowly racking up more and more. These Locusts do start dealing a devastating amount of damage very quickly. More swarm hosts being added into the mix. 17 already on the field with 4 more taking us up to 21 soon. A Colossus gonna fall, unfortunately, to those Locusts, and that's because a lot of JackO's attention is on this Zealot attack that is unable to kill off the third hatchery. More and more waves of Locusts coming through. Snute just edging forward ever further, and JackO is starting to lack any form of splash damage. He's got a single Colossus, and while he does have a lot of High Templar, they don't have Storm, and it's not even researching for the moment, and this means that they're essentially dead weight. They've got to become Archons. But it's not going to be enough. With those Zerglings running through, decimating the third, JackO concedes defeat in this first game, and Snute is 1-0 up in this best of 3.